morning. How is everybody today? Chilly? Yeah, a little. It's warm up here, though. You're in the sun. Good for you. Yeah, hey, let's keep it that way. Welcome to First Parish Church in Billerica, a Unitarian Universalist welcoming congregation. Whoever you are and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here always. Whether you are here for the first time or have been attending for years, and I know who you might be for years, Sarah. You are invited to join in refreshments and conversation downstairs in the parish hall immediately following the service. At this time, we ask anyone who has a cell phone to please turn it off so that we may enjoy our service without interruption. Thank you. My name is Joyce Wilson. Finally, I think I've been through Royston and Lothian in this congregation, but now I am Wilson back to my original, and I'm enjoying it. And I will be the worship assistant this morning for today. Our worship leader today is Stephanie Trudel, and she has been with us many times. She is currently serving her third year as lay minister at the First Church UU of Leominster, which she had to turn and check the heating service last night to make sure everything was okay. She's very committed to the church out there. She also serves on the board of the Montachusett Martin Luther King Jr. Coalition and is deeply committed to social and racial justice. She finds peace and connection in nature. She also enjoys reading, poetry, gardening, and Taylor Swift. And today I found out she enjoys her family as well. Please enjoy her service today.
Good morning. And thank you all for joining us today. It is no small feat to carve out the time for church, especially with the added errands, stresses, pressures, and such that the holiday season brings. We are glad you are here. In thinking about this time of year, our minds often drift toward words like joyful, festive, merry, bright, and jolly, and holy. A time to show those we love and care about how much they mean to us and how grateful we are to have them in our lives. It's a time for nostalgia and tradition. It is expected that Christmas is a jubilant and joyous season, the most wonderful time of the year even. Yet, in spite of that, many of us feel those pangs of sadness creeping on us. The season of light, as with most things, is not without darkness. Most of us have experienced loss, and this time of year can make us painfully aware of whom and what is missing. With so much focus on family and joy, being together can open old wounds and reinvigorate grief as we notice empty chairs once occupied by a loved one. The holidays can be painful when we are missing someone. Getting into the holiday spirit can be incredibly difficult if there is estrangement or tension within your family, or if you're grieving the loss of a person or relationship. Making merry can seem next to impossible when you're grieving. There can sometimes be pressure to put on a happy front, keep it together, or the one I dislike most, get over it. There is no timeline when it comes to grief and matters of an aching heart. Healing is not linear, and each of us needs to find what works and what doesn't. In the words of Shakespeare, give sorrow words. The grief that does not speak knits up or wrought heart and bids it break. Every Sunday, when we gather, we share our joys and sorrows. This practice is an important part of our worship. As we say, our joys are amplified and our sorrows lessened. Those aren't just nice words. They're a promise, a covenant that we will listen to one another, that will be present, and that we will be here for one another. It's a kind of reassurance that whatever happens outside our sanctuary walls, we have a safe and sacred place to turn. We cannot grow if we hold our grief inside. Although life is messy and pulls us in many directions, We can be each other's safe harbor. We can be ourselves with each other, and that alone is a gift, one we must treasure. We should not hesitate to let our guard down with each other and be vulnerable, frightening as that can be. When we share these experiences, we strengthen our bond. We're building beloved community. We can be sure we are safe and loved here. Washington Irving says, "There is sacredness in tears. They are not the mark of weakness, but of power. They speak more eloquently than 10,000 tongues. They are the messengers of overwhelming grief, of deep contrition, and of unspeakable love." Tears are messengers of unspeakable love. They are sacred and have their own power. I think this might be true, for I have cried out in joy and I have wept with sorrow. Those who have held me up during those times are the ones whose love I will never doubt. Having people on which we can rely provides us a light in the darkness. Knowing we're not alone gives us strength to carry on even when we have a heavy heart. Realizing that we all have pain, we all have suffering, is something that can bring us together in spite of the many differences of opinion that we have. The poet Ian Thomas writes, "And every day the world will drag you by the hand, yelling, 'This is important, and this is important, and this is important. You need to worry about this, and this, and this.' And each day, it's up to you to yank your hand back, put it on your heart, and say, 'No, this is what's important.'" Life can indeed be messy. It can throw us curveballs we never saw coming. Life can unexpectedly knock the wind from our sails. But it isn't how many times we fall, but how many times we rise that defines us. We have no way of knowing what will happen in the future. We simply have to wait and see. Those whom we've lost, may they continue to influence us as we make our path. Let us in this holiday season honor and remember those who have passed on by lighting a candle and speaking their names. There's magic in that. May we work to hold those with whom we have conflict in our hearts and plant the seeds of hope for resolution. May we find the strength to let go of those relationships, ideas, and practices that no longer serve us and replace them with a promise to ourselves to honor our feelings and give voice to what is in our hearts and support each other, knowing that we are our own kind of family, not one we were born into, but one of our choosing. I will end with Victor Hugo's quote, "Even the darkest night will end, and the sun will rise." A blessed solstice to all of you. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Blessed Yule, and all the rest. Today's benediction comes to us from Kathleen McToog. May the light around us guide our footsteps and hold us fast to the best and most righteous that we seek. May the darkness around us nurture our dreams and give us rest so that we may give ourselves to the work of our world. Let us seek to remember the wholeness of our lives, the weaving of light and shadow in this great and astonishing dance in which we move. Our service has ended. Our service to the world begins. Live long and prosper, peace and long life. Thank you for being with me today, friends.